Welcome everyone back to another BOLDcast One Piece reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is One Piece episodes 416 and 417. What happened last time?
Last time we got the whole backstory of the Gorgon sisters, and it was very tragic, but now that they've seen what kind of a guy Luffy really is, and now they're gonna help him, and it's gonna be pretty great, I think.
And we're gonna see more of, hopefully, reconnecting back to the main story, now that Luffy's gonna be getting a ride, so we'll see how all that goes. Leave a like and subscribe, check out Patreon to get 2 weeks out of Uncuts, 1 week out of edited reactions. We hope you enjoy. Let's go.
What'd you just say? What's that? Banquet. You might need to prepare a lot more food. It's like, it's been a while since people were throwing banquets for me all the time.
Is she like falling in love with him?
With the plates. Probably for the best. Before you guys run out of food. Okay. Maybe she should have made like an announcement or something. They're all gonna fight him. Is he just over there getting so fat? They kill him.
He's
don't have
like,
enough food.
Is this what you call a banquet? What?
You all need to start eating. Oh my god. Oh. So used to having Brooke around already.
What a great instrumentation.
Very nice.
Almost doing that. That seems so dangerous.
Yeah. Oh.
What a weirdo, this guy.
That was his whole plan, to distract them with laughing so that he can eat the rest of all their food.
Isn't Sea King meat supposed to be like gross?
He doesn't care, he's just like, I'm just trying to eat. Please just let me eat.
They got a queue going.
What? This is Nami over here.
He just cares about eating. Are they actually in love with him? I thought they were just like interested in his like skin.
So dumb.
That's nice.
したのかしら姉様疲れたと言っていたのに眠れない様子だし強制召集の件が姉様を明日の朝
Are you dying?
I think she's just falling really sexily and dramatically onto the ground because she's so overwhelmed with emotion. Or maybe she is dying. I don't understand.
Who's delivering these newspapers?
Buggy. Is he gonna see Buggy?
It isn't delivered to the comm belt.
Blackbeard.
Oh, she's gonna tell him about Ace's execution. I'm trying to defeat all of those. Seem pretty weak to me. I can't read.
I'm usually told by my crewmates. Oh, Jesus.
Oh boy.
There's no time for a banquet.
It's a good thing he ate the banquet. He needs the energy.
Yeah, he'll need it.
She's not the one doing anything. He
needs to reconnect with all of his crew and get there. You need to talk to your boy Kuma.
Unless you go straight there.
Combo. Oh. I see. That's the giant gate.
It's giving me a little bit of a better idea of how all that works now. Oh, look at this card. I thought he was chilling. It's not great. 10 times bigger?
Oh, Jesus. Without your crew, man. He doesn't have a choice, but...
Yeah, plus they'd probably all get killed if they went with him. This is insane. Kuma just shows up.
Do warlords have each other's number? Prison transport. Are they gonna fight in the current?
Can you just get arrested? Yeah, but if she takes him there, then she'll be...
Oh goodness.
Boy.
Oh no, what's going on? Oh, she passed out.
Mm-hmm.
If she can't do this, it's over. Oh my god.
Man, she's looking rough. Where's
Happened to her?
Chopper when you need him?
How could she have caught an unknown illness? Brother, what?
Excuse me?
Oh, man. Wait, who's this?
The other one that we haven't seen, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, man.
Damn.
Blackbeard's looking crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, yeah.
I don't even know. Like, if he goes there, I don't, like, it's gonna be crazy, and it would be crazy to have, like, an arc without the crew there. Like, that's kind of insane, you know? I mean, we're already in an arc without the crew.
No, but like a full battle,
Yeah.
full scale, like the biggest battle we've ever been in or seen ever. And our crew might not be there. But we don't know where they got sent, so maybe they're reconnecting or have reconnected and they'll show up in the nick of time or something.
Yeah, just to help him get away.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, like if Kuma or Ray, like if Kuma was like, if Kuma sent Luffy to this island on purpose because he knew that the Snake Princess would eventually bring him to Ace's execution, and then he told that to Rayleigh and was like, you need to get the rest of the crew to there at the same time so that he can escape onto the boat, and then, you know what I mean? Like there could have been like a very elaborate plan like that set up. I don't really know. But if Luffy has to like fight people other than just like slipping in, grabbing Ace, and getting out in the confusion of a Whitebeard fight, like I don't, you know what I mean? Like it's, he can't fight any of these guys, you know? Like he defeated Moria before, but only like by the things that were there at the time. Like we saw him just fighting regular Moria for like 10 hours straight and not being able to do anything, you know? And then, like, obviously he can't fight Kuma if Kuma decides to fight against him. He can't, like, you know what I mean?
He can't fight Blackbeard.
He can't fight Blackbeard for sure.
Probably can't fight Doflamingo.
Like,
definitely can't fight Mihawk.
Like, yeah, it's just like...
Maybe Zoro could put up a fight against him because Zoro's leveled up, but he probably isn't on Mihawk's level yet.
He wouldn't win. He could maybe put up a bit of a...
But just
like,
because they're both swordsmen, they could clash at the very least and be, you know, he could keep him busy. But I don't think Zoro's on Mihawk's level yet either, if he even shows up. Like, yeah, I don't think that Luffy stand a chance. And then there's the other guy that we don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I mean, if Luffy and the Snake Princess could kind of sneak in there and like use the confusion, like if Whitebeard's attacking, if they can use that confusion to help, like
Whitebeard might have, like, probably has other guys, and who knows, maybe Shanks will show up.
Yeah, if Whitebeard and Shanks team, because it's like the thing is if, like, we know that Luffy can't defeat any of these guys, but we've seen our crew defeat 2 warlords so far. So like, Whitebeard is exponentially more powerful, and his crew are so much more powerful than anyone on our crew, you know? So they could potentially stand a pretty decent chance against them, and that's the reason why the world government wants all the warlords to be there, because they know that it's going to be a pretty close fight, you know?
Well, yeah, and the thing is, we don't even know, like, the thing about the warlords is they're still pirates. They're not really great at working together, usually.
Yeah, like, I don't think any of them like each other.
And we don't know how Mihawk is, how loyal he is to the government. He seems like he doesn't really give a fuck.
If he's more, like, in, like, you know, like, so there's, like, Mihawk, the Snake Princess, and Kuma that are all potential, like, not that loyal. And then, like, Blackbeard and Doflamingo are, like, and Moria are kind of in it for themselves, like, you know, everyone's kind of a wild card, and I think that's kind of the point of the warlords, because the admirals are obviously super loyal, and, you know,
but not entirely, because Aokiji, but they will do, you know,
Aokiji,
they will sacrifice their own ideals to uphold justice, peace, whatever, you know, they're on the other side of the coin, where they think that it's the lesser of two evils, it seems like, usually. Kizaru seems... I mean, we don't know about Akainu, who's the one that we haven't seen. Kizaru seems like just a piece of shit. We don't really know what his, like, what the weirdness with his personality is. But Aokiji, we know, is a good guy at heart, but has a sort of, like, does what needs to be done type vibe, but he will, you know, make allowances where possible. And the thing about Moria is, maybe Moria is, you know, he has a really good power, but he's weaker compared to, like, other warlords, perhaps. But he also is weaker in will, and I don't know if he has the emotional, like, constitution for, like, a drawn-out battle like this. Maybe after being defeated by the Straw Hats and seeing that they have what it takes to do what he couldn't type thing, maybe he'll cave and, like...
I mean, also, Moria right now, he had been storing up shadows for, like, hundreds of years, and we did talk before about, like, you know,
they're at the prison.
If they went to the prison and he stole everyone's shadows, like, that could be
go to where
huge
everybody's
for
gonna
him.
be executed,
But, you know, his powers were so incredibly powerful, like, in his own house, that he set up everything to work in the specific way that he would have all this power and all these zombies and you know what I mean? Like, there's, you know, his power,
on his turf, it was too much for us, but maybe it'll be an emotional thing, like I said, where Luffy was able to do what he did, and maybe I think maybe he'll start fighting hardcore if he's there. He'll start on the world government side, and then through a long drawn out battle, like when everybody's wounded or something, maybe he'll, like, give, like, a little upswing towards our side, maybe, or something.
The other thing as well, it's like, if the world government starts losing, are any of these guys not gonna flip? You know what I mean? Like,
that's the thing.
It's like,
they're only with the world government because they give them, you know, a pass to do whatever they want. They're, like, you know, informants.
But it's like,
basically.
if the world government, and I don't think that this is going to be the fight that's going to completely collapse the world government and they're not going to exist anymore. But in that moment, if the world government is no longer the world government, then these guys have nothing to gain by being warlords, and then they can just go back to being pirates who care about themselves.
But let's be honest, I don't think that is going to happen in this fight.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't think that's this moment, that moment is happening now, but, you know, it just kind of puts into perspective that these guys are.
Yeah. Well, obviously Kuma is completely double agent. But Mihawk, the more I think about it, the more and with his parallel to Zoro and Zoro's conviction and his, like, honor as a swordsman, like knight, samurai, oath keeper type thing and all that type shit, I think that he maybe will mirror that. And despite the fact that work for the world government is not good, it's, like, a part of his principle to keep his promises. So, he will probably, despite, you know, being more chill and, you know, more like he's Shanks's kind of rival, I don't think that he's gonna flip in the fight. He's probably the most solid out of this whole crew.
And he was chill
other
when we
than
met him,
Blackbeard.
but also we were nobodies when we met him.
Yeah, it was nothing.
He didn't come after us because we'd committed crimes
We were just
and made
in his way.
enemies. Yeah, we were just chilling there and picked a fight with him.
We were a fun side quest for him on his way to go, like, have a beer with Shanks and get some food at Baratier.
Yeah.
Like, it was literally nothing. So, yeah, and it will be different ones now that Zoro is more of a significant challenge. If I don't think that they're going to keep the Straw Hats out of this whole war. They're probably going to show up. You know, who else might show up? Buggy and Alvida. We don't know. They've been missing for so long that they've probably had such a big power-up or some kind of advancement or have a part to play in all of this, I think. And that's why they're showing him in the newspaper there. And I would say maybe it was just a random animation thing, but they showed multiple times this thing in multiple different angles in like at different times
And
in the
if he's
episode.
worthwhile to be in the newspaper...
And it would be a good, like... return because he's been hidden for so long. It would be like, oh my god, it's Buggy, that's so crazy. And I don't think he's going to be on the Warlord side. Sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, it's just, yeah, you could think like, oh, it's just a cute little Easter egg, but given the fact that, like, if we're taking it seriously as, like, this newspaper has a story about Buggy, alongside the headlines such as, all warlords are being summoned.
Yeah.
Ace is being executed. The Whitebeard pirates are at large. Like, those news stories are so huge that if Buggy wasn't doing something, like, actually serious, then, like, he doesn't have any place there, unless it is just, like, an Easter egg for the fans to be like, oh, look, there's Buggy. But, yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it is more to it, then he must be doing some pretty serious stuff.
Especially because, maybe Rayleigh's going to be there. Maybe if Shanks shows up, they were like rivals when they were young. You know, we've talked a lot about the potential, like what could have been. Maybe Buggy was meant to be in a Blackbeard sort of role or something. Because Shanks has the 3 scars in his face, Buggy holds the swords like Wolverine in his hands. It would kind of fit, and they're like hostile brothers on Roger's ship, sort of like arguing with each other, opposites. And, you know, One Piece was way smaller scale. That was a kind of potential theory that we had early on. But anyway, with all of this convergence, I think it would be a big missed opportunity and kind of silly not to have Buggy show up, especially if you're teasing him like this and teasing him with the Rayleigh stuff. And what else? Who else are we going to see? We're also going to see Kobe, I bet.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be crazy if we saw Kobe again. Yeah, and if Garp's there...
We don't know if Garp's going to be there. He was going to Sabaudi. He's going to the archipelago, I thought, or he was thinking about it.
But I mean, if he was going there to help Luffy, and then he found out that Luffy was probably going to help Ace, then he might also swing by there and have a hand in helping to get us out of there.
Well, yeah, we thought that maybe he was ordered away from the execution because of his connection to Ace. But we don't even know if everybody knows about him and Ace.
Yeah.
Or what? We don't know the connection. Like, you know, we still don't know how Ace and Luffy are related, whether they share a mom or share a dad or share both, and Ace just changed his name. Whether Garp's son is Luffy's dad or Garp's daughter is Luffy's mom. We don't know. They kept it kind of vague with the wording when he said, like, you're the child of my child. He didn't say the son of my son. You could say that it is likely because it's a shonen manga and it's all about like the father-son passing down of a legacy type thing, that it's implied that it's like it's something you're supposed to take for granted, that it's a son of a son type thing, but you never know. They could be fucking with you with it. They kept it vague on purpose, perhaps. Yeah, so we don't know if Dragon is Garp's son,
Yeah, we
or
also don't
if
know if
married
Dragon
Garp's daughter
might interfere.
Yeah,
if
we don't
Ace
know.
was his son,
We
which,
don't
like, you know, he might also, there's a lot of variables that can come into this.
Yeah.
One thing I'm really glad about in this
There's also the
episode-
cuck theory to consider.
This is true.
We still don't know how that. We need to revisit the cuck theory after all this information, because all the stuff we've learned so much about Roger, about how he turned himself in, about Garp, and you know, we need to revisit Garp and Roger's relationship potentially, and maybe we'll be able to after this, and maybe it'll clear up a lot of things in this whole thing. Whether or not the cuck theory is still viable, we really need to re-examine that.
Yes, definitely.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I can't remember.
I bet it wasn't as cool as the cut here.
Yeah, I can't remember.
All this to say, we're very excited. We're very excited. It's really underway, and Luffy is going to get there just in the nick of time, it seems like, with the time.
This is what I was saying. I liked that they showed that big whirlpool type thing, because it was very confusing the way that they were talking about, like, beyond these gates is this and this, and then we're like, well, why on earth would you need to go through the gate?
Yeah.
Like, actually, how does that work? Because we can see in the gates, and they're not there. You know, like it was this very confusing thing of like, okay, like the gates don't have a wall. You could just go around.
It also felt like the kind of like, this is, you take this for what you will. You don't have to, you know, whatever. But it felt when we were learning it, when we saw the gate, it was after we saw the whole it was after we saw all the stuff with Enies Lobby, and we were like, okay, Enies Lobby is the gateway, is the lobby to Impel Down, which is the prison. What's in the middle of Enies Lobby? A giant pit that goes downwards. So you'd think with the names that we learned before we saw even Enies Lobby, before we saw any of that Enies Lobby was a door to Impel Down. And when you then after you see the hole and you're like, okay, Impel Down must be down there, and it's like a walk the plank thing, because there's like the plank of land that's floating above this thing. So it's like, it makes sense, it's on theme with the whole pirate shit. And then you find out there's a giant gate out over there, and it's just like, wait, I thought it was
went
down.
Through the gate as well.
Yeah, there was like a giant gate, and when they showed the gate opening, when Kokoro was talking about the gate, or talking about like what was describing Enies Lobby, not talking about the Gate of Justice. I think the Gate of Justice was used, but it seemed like leading up into all that, the whole idea was Enies Lobby's gates were the literal gates that were busted through by us coming in on the train. And then past that was the execution grounds, where you were basically pushed into Impel Down. And it was like a Davy Jones' locker type thing. Again, Davy Jones' locker, like you're locked up, Impel Down. So all of this imagery and wordplay felt like it went out the window for a giant random fucking gate the size of like God, like these crazy big gates, and it just felt like, wait, you did all this wordplay, you did all this setup with all the and all this, the ancient architecture around this thing. It's like this clearly important historical site. What this is, it's like a big deal, and it seems like maybe the government is conquering all of these, or has knowledge of all these ancient things. It's like setting up for all that type of shit. They've set up shop in this like divine location, and are using it, are basically bending this like historical thing to their will so that they could control the public. And that's still kind of what they're doing, but it just felt like, okay, so when we saw the gates, it felt so weird, and it felt like there's probably an explanation for this, but it feels like you just wanted to have a big fucking gate out there. Yeah. So to see it now, hang on, let's go back and see where the map was, since we're talking about it. So with one thing I want to say, One Piece with scale is a problem. Like, you can't count on scale, because things change depending on camera angles, depending on the emotion of what's going on. And this is clearly just a diagram. So you can't fully trust it. But, hang on. If this is relatively to scale, like obviously the cities and the locations aren't, but like the size of the whirlpool to the calm belt. Wait, what does this say? Is this...
That's Impel Down.
That's Impel Down.
That's Enies Lobby.
That's Marine Headquarters. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. If that's the case, we have been way closer to the red line in the New World than I ever thought. If this is because then where do we go? We went up in this area, because like the shape of all of this.
Oh no, we must have gone over here because
that's where the
Celestial Dragons are hanging out. That's Marine Headquarters, and I think this is Say Body here.
For some reason, I thought that when we left that whole area, the gate was on our left.
Well, we might have gone back to Water 7, which might have been the other way, and then continued on.
That is true.
And then we also got caught in Thriller Bark.
Which would be where? It would be over here? Or would it be over here? Maybe it'd be like a weird thing with all the currents in here. No,
Yeah.
or is it in the middle?
I mean,
Oh, maybe. No, that's impossible. Because the point of this, why there's no fence, because that's what the one thing you're talking
it's
about
like,
before.
yeah,
Is that like, is there a gate? So then what if you just go around the gate? Well, there's the current, and there's a lot. It sounds like we're complaining a lot, but it's just it's not really complaining, because I like now that we have an explanation. Just because it's not what we thought it was doesn't mean that it's bad. We just
wanted to understand.
We're also just trying to describe what we thought going into it, and maybe anyone else thought the same thing about all this shit or had some kind of similar thing with all this. But regardless, doesn't matter. Why I wanted to talk about the scale. The reason I wanted to talk about the scale was something I just is because the other islands is the other paths of the Grand Line.
Yeah, like I don't think we were on the farthest one.
Is this in the middle of the red line? You know, like is the Mary Joy's or whatever, Marine headquarters, all that shit, or Navy headquarters, is that supposed to be in the center?
Or is it on the
or is
side
it closer
like
to this comm belt? Because if that that's where the scale matters, because if that's the case, then this takes up like almost half of the Grand Line.
I feel like this has to be close to the side.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Yeah.
But but I don't know. And again, it is just a diagram, so you can't really trust it.
Yeah.
So you don't know. And they're making use of this whirlpool for like quicker travel and stuff, and like communication.
Yeah.
And things, so
I feel like it has to be closer to the side because if it was that far away, like it would taking up, like, it would mean that no islands can go through there. But if it was just off to the side near the comm belt because they need impel down, I don't know.
I think it's cool to see all of this regardless. I hope it didn't sound like we were just complaining about it. The point the point isn't to complain. The point is just to understand it and like break it down a little bit.
And just so we can know what we're actually dealing with, when like a lot of it is like uncharted waters and it's totally fine. But when when you say through these gates are these things, but we can't see them or like understand how that makes sense, seeing it really helps, especially since we were also told that like the Holy City was near Marine headquarters, and then we were like, oh well, I thought Marine headquarters was like back at Ennie's lobby, that was like through the gate and so far away.
And we don't, because that's the thing is with and like Ennie's lobby feels like it was so long ago because there's multiple arcs. We don't necessarily have to have had to travel so far, really, because Thriller Bark was kind of like waylaying us, and that took so long. But it feels like it was so far long ago at this point. So that's where the space and time stuff gets kind of muddled, and why it seems like it should be.
I do also like this, like, because they're like, oh, there's so many Sea Kings in this whirlpool. It's like if all those Sea Kings are getting pulled in off the comm belt, then it makes sense why it would be infested with Sea Kings as well.
Yeah, and we don't know how deep the current goes, so they could just dive underneath the, like, and get caught in the current or whatever. So we don't, so like, how would we even, thinking about this, they're going to be sailing to here, or sailing around and then over to here, or into here?
Well, here's the thing that they said is, I think it's like, if they go straight to there, they won't make it in time.
And there's going to be people
guarding.
So
the only hope is to take the Marine ship, which will fast track them. Although, like, given that...
But again, they need to make it to here.
Yeah. Well, I think they were saying, like, I guess you could bust him out of the jail if you tried.
That's what they were talking about, but it's going to be, like, maximum security
maybe
anyway.
Maybe if they get in this, then they can catch them as they're transporting him.
Yeah.
And,
so then it's like, then the question is, how do they get in that? Do they go back to Ennie's lobby, which is probably the least guarded at this point? Or is there a way they can get over this, like, current wall thing? They probably can't do it by normal means, by paddling. That's because, like, the Navy has the technology, obviously, to go into the comm belt. But they need to go to all these gates, right?
Yeah.
Reasonably speaking. Maybe they don't, but let's say they do. I depending on how big this is, it's probably a lot bigger. Again, it's a diagram. Then it's probably bigger than we think. But what about a coup de burst? Can we, like, shoot ourselves over the waters that are, like, clashing and, like, splitting apart, or what? Maybe that'd be a way for us to get in, and then we would just get swirled. The problem is, if the doors weren't open, then we would just go into the center and possibly die. But which is probably why they need to communicate and say, okay, people from Ennie's Lobby are headed to Marine headquarters. It takes like this many days, this many hours to open the gates from this time to this time, or as you're approaching, open them up so that the current pulls out. So it's really interesting to try and understand all of this because it's clearly thought out. It's interesting to think about, theorize how would you use this to your advantage if you were trying to like break in. It's almost like a heist type thing. And then also separately from all this, separately from like the arc, we've been talking about the red line, how it keeps now being referred to as a wall. It's being referred to as a giant wall. So like, how does that fit in with these giant gates? Did they like it seems like they built the giant gates because it has the world government insignia on it. Did they also build the wall? Was it the ancient kingdom that they rallied against? Did they build the red line? And the gate being right next to the red line, again, we don't know how close this is. It's a diagram, but it's connecting what appears to be the headquarters, which is on land, on the red line. Is the gate going right up to the red line? It's interesting to think about, and with the whole theorizing about the red line being a thing that's built rather than just a feature of the environment, or some sort of like element of the ancient war, and the calm belt and the grand line and the separation of that ocean. Is that a consequence of like the of Pluton or some sort of great weaponry, something like that? With maybe there's elements, we've been talking a lot about great flooding. We don't know about all that shit, but all these giant, huge features of the environment being used by the world government, and seemingly these like unnatural things, these perfect triangle like whirlpool things connecting all of their shit. It's just interesting to think about. It's probably worth to keep in mind for the future. But anyway, I think that's enough for this episode. Imagine you just snap off that part and then like the heart. Buster Call. I wonder what this illness is. Would it be crazy if somehow it's Brooks Captain's illness? Comes back around 50 years later. With her heart. Is she really just in love with Luffy? That would be so crazy. No way. No way! She's so in love with him that she doesn't want him to go. No way!
Can you fucking relax, lady?
Jesus Christ.
Me either.
Oh.
Wasn't she the former empress, or she was a
She was
former
the
empress?
one before.
Fell in love, then that's why she left the country, maybe? Maybe? Is this how he gets her to go along with it? Don't speak so soon.
Folded under no pressure. Oh my god.
terrible trauma of being possibly sexually assaulted, most likely sexually assaulted and enslaved as a child. Nothing compared to her love for Luffy.
I like how she looks so much prettier when she's in her in love mode. He's not that fantastic.
Yeah, he is. Are you kidding me?
He's really great, but you need to relax a little bit. You better get over this before he has to go on his own journey.
That's why she left, so she didn't die.
Mm-hmm. It's a pretty good deal.
Well, until you have to fight against Luffy. He's got a new suit. Yeah.
You don't want Sanji on this island.
Whoa.
No!
A seal?
Oh, he's so cute!
God, BOLDcast is always complaining about fucking animal abuse. Like, they just never shut up about it. It's not even in One Piece.
Keep a better eye on your animals!
Hebiona. Snake woman. Hammock. Don't be mean.
I really want to come back and see these guys again.
This is a really nice place, it turns out.
Mm-hmm.
That was so dumb. Now the question is, would everyone on this island have loved Sanji as much? I don't think so.
It would have been so funny if Frankie was the one on the set. They're like, oh my god, men have like this crazy, they can detach their skin.
Wait, men can go centaur mode? Men are such crazy creatures.
Are they gonna pretend that he's a prisoner?
Oh, probably. Probably. I would, like, before you said that, I was thinking that maybe they would go with the cargo thing and it would be like a repeat of
When he was in that barrel?
in the barrel in the first episode, and maybe they'd get there and then Kobe would open up a barrel
And
and then
be him
Luffy would
again.
be in there. It'd be the same shit. That'd be so funny. Oh, that Sea King that was going around. This guy's plan is just like, he can't go anywhere because he has no crew, so he's just kind of sitting there. Is he gonna fall in love with her because he sees her like so beautiful and in love? Did he get swallowed by the snake?
That would be funny.
He like stretches all rubbery and like into a little noodle and then he
That
gets
would
swallowed
be
by the
so
snake.
funny.
Fucking idiot. We still never got like a full-on explanation of their cloaks,
Yeah.
but I guess it's just their outfit. Luffy.
Oh, yeah, he's just...
Oh, is he on her?
Yeah, I think so. I couldn't eat enough at the banquet. Oh my god!
So we can't get out of here.
Sanji's gonna get 2 It Should Have Been Me's arcs in a row, basically, or separated. But first Absalom, now this. What was that? Sneeze.
Why wouldn't you just lie and say that it was the snake?
It was my dog. The dog did it. This is so bad. It would have been better for him to get swallowed by the snake. Wouldn't be the first time he got swallowed by a big snake. Disarming. That's really smart, actually, because he's gonna think it's like, if he does that,
Then he's gonna
be
fall
vulnerable.
prey on
Yeah,
her. Yeah.
he'll be vulnerable to her attack. Smart. What a great place to cut off what they were saying.
Incredible.
That's the best soundbite in One Piece.
That's good.
That's so funny because they literally like got frozen with Han, and then
Yeah.
so funny. Oh shit! The big man himself. He looks a lot slimmer than he was when we first saw him in like Alabasta times. Oh my god! So is the new guy that other person?
Yeah, he's not gonna be here.
Who is
Room in the
it?
prison?
Opposing the battle.
Oh.
Jinbei.
Right, I forgot about him.
I don't know if we knew he was a warlord.
Didn't
maybe
we? And
maybe
then that's
we
why
did.
Arlong was mad because he was a warlord, even though he
No,
said
you're 100% right. You're 100% right. Did they say Kimbei as well? Is he dead?
Is that him pull down?
Oh my god.
Uh-oh.
Insane. So much shit is happening. His ship is the Moby Dick? Did we know that? He's the Whitebeard, white whale.
Damn, he just slaughtered all of those ships. You guys are gonna get absolutely clapped.
I mean, Whitebeard has like a fleet of his own, right? He has like 4 different commanders. And he might have assembled other pirate crews as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, is it gonna happen at Impel Down?
Leafy's like, perfect, my home turf.
Is he going to see Ace? Or is he going to see Jinbei? Probably Ace. Oh boy, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Oh my fucking god.
Damn, they're really this
Brighton.
this arc is really good at going from like this dumbest and silliest thing to then the most like craziest thing. Like with like at first I'm like, oh, it's a man, blah blah blah, and then it like gets really serious with the sister's like backstory, and then it's like, oh, what's wrong with her? Oh, she's in love and is behaving like an absolute moron. Okay, and then you're like, okay, it's just silly nonsense, and then they just smack you with all of this stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, her being like lovesick. That's so funny. Like, that's so funny. Like, it's so good, and it makes a lot of sense, and it makes a lot of sense because it helps with, you know, the world building of the island and the empresses and stuff like that. That, yeah, it's an island of all women, but that doesn't mean that they don't feel love, even though, you know, they have to kill all men who come there because of their culture. But yeah, it's really funny, it's really interesting, and it's also obviously just there to make Luffy more badass because like the most beautiful woman in the world is like super in love with him. But that should tell you something out there, kids, you know? Even though I'm sure most people watching don't need woman advice from a One Piece YouTuber, and also because you're probably also like 30 years old, mostly. But like, if you think about it, it's the show's presenting like a moral or like in a way like an imperative there, that like Luffy is the one. What is he doing? He's like biting the edge of the wood. Sorry, our cat's being weird. Bryden, you're gonna chip your fucking tooth. It's presenting like kind of a moral there of like what kind of a guy gets the princess or saves the virgin from the dragon is the one who kills the dragon, and the guy who does that is like, you know, the guy who's worthy, pulls a sword from the stone type thing. Similar sort of messaging, you know, Luffy, the guy who is pure, who doesn't have sort of intentions with Boa Hancock or any of the other girls, is the kind of guy who gets them to, who like they end up falling in love with or like really admiring and loving being around and stuff. So he gets the princess or the empress, the like peak top shelf lady, because he's just so honest and pure and doesn't have intentions towards that way. Whereas if you think about Sanji, if he were here, he's just as much of a good guy, generally speaking.
But he would have intentions.
But he like, that's, you know, there's a reason why they fall in love with Luffy. And they all love Luffy so much. If it was another man, it wouldn't work, but...
It's because he's so wholesome.
It's because he's wholesome and he doesn't have, like, ulterior motives with them, and I think. He's not all fawning over and falling in love with them. So, and, like, trying to, you know, make something happen or something, so. Take that for what you will. But then we got a bunch of shit with, I thought it's... Oh, wait, one more thing. The fact that he wasn't swallowed by the snake... and instead it was just clutching onto her is so weird. Like, I don't know, I think they set it up too, because like they said, oh, only you and that snake are allowed on board. And then we're like, oh, he's clearly like either wrapped up in the snake or like turned into rubber and like is in the snake somehow, is getting swallowed by the snake. But no, he's just attached to her in a big frumpy coat.
I also feel like they could have made like some type of like pocket like in her cloak that he could just like sit in, so he wouldn't have to hold on to her. Like I feel like they could have just like made like kind of a hidden like pouch
like
for
a baby
him to
Bjorn.
Yeah, like for him to just like lay in, and that would have been a lot less obvious.
Or it would have been funny if he went Gear 3 for like a really long time.
Oh, so then he was
and then
tiny?
He shrunk. At least for like the first little bit until he could stow away somewhere.
Yeah, it'd be funny.
Yeah. And then we got all this stuff. So I just want to hear one more time when they mention Jinbei, because I think the voice actor said Kimbei, which would be similar characters. Doesn't that sound like a K? Somebody let me know. But it's either way, whether it's in, I don't know if it's spelled in katakana or hiragana, but if it's a K or a J sound, it would be just like one little accent on the character that would be different. So I'm not saying it's a mistake, but maybe it's a pronunciation thing that I don't really understand. But yeah, so now he
Garp's at Impel
confirmed.
Down. Ace, obviously at Impel Down.
Everyone, all the warlords.
Everyone's
now
heading there because they know that like Whitebeard's already making his move. Getting kind of crazy. Luffy's gonna absolutely fuck up Impel Down potentially, depending on who, like who's there. Like if a bunch of people aren't there yet, you know, if they get there first, especially if Garp's already there, you know, like if Luffy showed up to try and get out Ace, Garp would probably let it slide, you know.
Yeah, well,
depending on
the thing is, we don't know. We still don't know what so much is kept hidden on purpose about what Garp and Ace's relationship is like.
And now they're teasing it at the end here because they know that everyone's been thinking like,
what does he think of him? Like what is their situation here? Ace has a different last name. We talked about it like an episode or two ago in a discussion. Ace has a different surname to Luffy. It's not Monkey D, it's Portgas D. So who's Portgas D Papa? Like is it or mom or whatever? Like we don't know. if they're half brothers, Luffy and Ace, we've speculated, are probably half brothers, but we don't know whether they have a different mom or a different dad, or if they're literally just full on brothers.
Yeah.
We have no idea. We know that they're 3 years apart, or at least Ace left 3 years earlier. But we don't know. We still don't know what Ace's relationship is with Shanks. If they all grew up in the same place, or what. We have no idea. We have no idea what Garp would think of Ace, or what. We have no idea. So it's, yeah, he could be like the redheaded stepchild, and that's why he wanted to leave, even though Shanks has red hair. But I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm hoping, like, because this little teaser, then we'll get some more next episode that will kind of reveal a little bit more.
Yeah, it feels like just this shot here and the way that Garp is looking at him, it feels like I always knew you'd end up in a place like this, you piece of shit type thing. Like as if Ace was the piece of shit older brother who was kind of more of a ne'er-do-well maybe, or like was more of an asshole or did some bad stuff or something. And then we've speculated a lot about maybe Garp and Roger's relationship, and like maybe he wanted, like maybe they were friends when they were growing up, and Garp wanted to raise his kid to be not like Roger. Ended up like, say his kid was Dragon, or his kid was Dragon's paramour, Luffy's mom, and they grew up to be more like Roger. Maybe there's some cuck theory stuff going on there. We don't know. And then grandchildren come along, and he's like, okay, this is my last chance. I'm going to mold them to be followers of justice, followers of whatever. Whether he's so crazy about, because in the live action, he's more about like, big into the Marine Navy, law lifestyle, except for like in like key moments where his past is revealed or other things. So in the live action, they have more information than they did in the anime at that time. So they're presenting different aspects of his character and obviously twisting them because they changed Garp so much for the live action. But taking that into account, this whole idea that Garp has been trying to like make it right, his possibly, like, this is a theory, the idea that he maybe has been trying to set things right and set up the next generation for success and not follow this like stupid pipe dream of being a pirate or whatever, and then failing every single time. Maybe he sees Ace in a more negative light for like, maybe he thinks he corrupted Luffy by inspiring him.
Yeah, I mean, there's also the possibility that they're making this scene really dramatic.
Yeah.
And like, this and that.
Yeah.
He doesn't
could
act
be not
like
that big of a
they're
deal.
setting it up like he looks like he fucking hates Ace. He doesn't care about him at all. Like, just like the way that they're presenting him in this lighting and this angle and this like look on his face and stuff. But there's also the very real possibility that that's just to get everyone's minds working, and then it's going to be completely different.
Yeah.
When we see like
Of course.
what happens
Of
right
course,
after.
Yeah. There's just so many possibilities, and I feel like this next episode, if we actually see this and it's not just a full-on teaser, or we'll see, or maybe this is like they're having this conversation, then we'll cut away and then see it way later. It's probably going to illuminate a lot about our theories about the connection between all these people and what they mean to each other, and how, and some past details that maybe are, because we've long said that there's a lot of things about all of them, not just Ace and Garp, but everyone, with Dragon and Luffy and the whole crisscross of shit, and possibly connections to Robin. That all of this shit is wrapped up together, and there's key pieces of information that are being glossed over on purpose, and it's not, we always talk about, was this thought of blah blah blah, was this thought of early, was this developed over time, was this going in a different direction, but it was stitched onto this other thing. This whole entanglement is clearly something that has been planned, has been set in stone, but is being skipped over or being, red
Purposefully,
herringed or
like very carefully
being
excluded.
vague, because it has some sort of significance. Maybe not like power scaling significance. Maybe not. Maybe this all does. I mean, maybe now that there's Conqueror's Spirit, there's that whole thing. Maybe that has something to do with the D or something. Like there's something with all that shit. So maybe there's a power scaling significance, but all this stuff is being kept secrets because of like probably more of a character importance with Luffy, obviously. And it's very interesting to watch. So I can't wait to see more of it.
Me too.
Leave a like and subscribe. See you next one, Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
Bye-bye.